When Anne Frank was about my age, she documented her life hiding in her attic from 1942 to 1944 in her diary. During the horrific World War II time, she was not only confined to a small space, but lived in fear. Of course, getting flour for her birthday cake was a luxury, and she had limited supplies of everything. While we cannot compare our current pandemic and toilet paper scarcity to World War II, this is an unprecedented time in history, and it has led to panic and anxiety for many of us. While I cannot control the fact that proms and graduations have been canceled for seniors, and my school year has been fully transitioned to online, I am grateful for the things that I can control and for the people who keep me safe and healthy. During this pandemic, I have observed people in panic and worry. I understand their fear of losing their loved ones to a disease without a cure yet, and for the loss of income of their businesses. With more time, my parents started driving to their friends' businesses for takeout meals to support them. With more time, we have been thinking about what we can do to support our community. I'm also thinking about my personal growth. So, what have you been doing to keep yourself busy, healthy, and productive during this quarantine? I've been asked multiple occasions. Fortunately, I have had the opportunity to continue on with my school education. My school was prepared for the transition to online learning, and we started our online school on March 10th. We have a schedule of about 30 minutes of instruction for each class via Zoom, and assignments and resources are posted daily to Schoology. We have about 15 minutes of break in between each of our classes to get a snack and to stretch our bodies. The online learning has taken up a majority of my mornings and a few of the hours in the afternoon, which I usually dedicate to homework and connecting with my friends online via Snapchat and FaceTime, and TikTok, of course. With the remaining hours of my day, I'm using them to explore different things that I haven't had enough time to do previously. So far, I've painted, written for pleasure, taught myself guitar, and caught up on current events by reading the newspaper, not through online media, as I had been previously doing. As someone who is used to filling up my entire schedule with events and projects, it's been nice to slow down a little and take some time to focus on my own personal growth. I still create a daily schedule for myself, but there's room to fill with yoga and meditation. I've done a lot of self-reflection and looked for new ways to be an active community member since we cannot volunteer in the same way that we used to. My daily schedule is pretty much the same every day, but I do like to incorporate different types of fun into my afternoons and evenings. A usual day for me is online calls with my teachers in the morning from around 8:30 to 12:15 p.m. After my school time, I will eat lunch. I've enjoyed making my own lunches with fresh fruit and vegetables, and I've also been experimenting with different recipes and trying to recreate the foods that I love. In the afternoons, I will try to complete my homework as quickly as possible so that I have plenty of free time to enjoy for adventure. I have been painting, educating myself through free online courses on topics that are not covered in school, such as films in Hollywood, or reading a book. I'm currently reading The Body, which is very fascinating, and I love reading about all the different organs and how they function, and it's very relevant to how we understand the current pandemic. I would definitely recommend. Since I'm an only child with no siblings to play with, catching up with friends is also an important part of my evenings. My mom also prepares tea times so that we can have our daily conversations as well. After a month at home, I've decided to use this coronavirus pandemic as a way to rethink how I approach life and how we address our communities in crisis. I am fortunate enough to be a part of the population who is not vulnerable and highly at risk for the coronavirus. So, I am able to use this time to better myself and support those who are suffering from the effects of COVID-19. I call our elderly friends and check in to see if they need anything. I also write to my grandmother, who is currently living alone in Los Angeles, to keep her company during this lonely time. When my mom is working in her home office, I try to respect her space and leave her alone. I fill our little neighborhood libraries with children's books since our local public libraries are currently closed. These are the things that I can control and do to keep us safe and healthy.